Canada's National Volunteer Week gives us an opportunity to pay attention to our terrific volunteers and super staff who work with volunteers. We owe a debt of gratitude to you all in making this congregation so essential to us. Shortly, Jim will share a proper thank you, but first, let's take a broader look at volunteering here. In my mind, part of celebrating volunteers involves looking at trends so that Winnipeg Unitarians will have volunteer celebrations for decades to come. A few weeks ago, I attended a CUC, that's Canadian Unitarian Council, online session called Volunteer Bandwidth, Burnout and Reimagining. UU congregations from Victoria to Ottawa were represented. A common theme was how tired elder volunteers are getting and the difficulties in recruiting younger, more energetic volunteers. CUC co-facilitator Ann Barker made a wise comment that really resonated with me. She said that when people are nourished and nurtured, then the energy starts to rise. Are we talking about providing volunteer service? Or about belonging? Are we talking about providing pathways to membership or pathways to belonging to community? When people have a sense of belonging, they're less concerned, anxious, or frightened. The rest of us may need to let a few tasks or committees go in the meantime. Desperate committees aren't very enticing to newcomers. Ann Barker mentioned that we hear that we need to do less, but nobody knows which less to do. Maybe it's time to slow down a bit and just enjoy one another's company more. About a year ago, I asked Reverend Stephan how many committees might be a realistic number for a congregation this size. He replied, 8 to 12 committees. That's not the 26 committees currently on the books. How much infrastructure do we really need? Short-term events or programs may just need ad hoc planning teams. A documented trend in volunteering is the tendency for people to volunteer for projects such as special events, or over more long-term committees as traditionally was done. Who remembers our fantastic karaoke afternoon with tons of participation? Anybody? The bottom line is when you volunteer, you freely give your time without expecting to be paid. Maybe you can't say no at work, but you can say no to volunteering. Let's try it. No. Oh no, you can do better than that. No. Now think for a moment about a volunteer project that really turns your crank, something that you enjoy immensely. Maybe it's working on coffee time Sundays or singing in the choir. Maybe it will be helping out on Saturday, May 4th at the Clean Sweep Spring Cleaning Bee at the church, in preparation for Doors Open Winnipeg. Let's try that other word now. Yes. Yes. Again, yes. I personally love working with others to help build the ranks of nourished, happy, and skilled UU volunteers. So I said yes when the board asked me to join the Volunteer Resources Committee in December 2021. And it's still fantastic working with Katana, Jim, Kristen, Brian, Barb, and Ledoux. What have you said yes to? Where do you feel fed and not depleted? In early March, during an epic snowstorm, 19 UUs gathered for our hybrid leadership forum. We were so pleased that staff joined us as well. We discussed in small groups, are we happy with the quantity and quality of our volunteer work? Do we live a balanced life, including time for reflection and personal or spiritual growth? How do we all help develop lay leadership in this congregation? People appreciated the chance to gather, whether in person or online, to talk to one another and to reflect. Sometimes in this church we get so busy doing that we don't necessarily take the time to reflect on how we're doing, and that's important. Last November, I sadly left the Adult Programming Committee after 10 years to achieve more balance in my life. I miss creating programs and laughing with friends, but it was time. Now that's a fun place to volunteer if you're looking for one. Some of us might like to volunteer a bit less. Others may want to try something different. There's room for that. Others in the congregation may want to start volunteering, but may not know how or what to choose to do. Please see us at the back table at the end of the service if you'd like to further explore volunteering or to sign up for the May 4th spring cleanup. Special thanks to Anne, who designed our updated volunteer opportunities brochure, which is also at the table. Thank you, Anne. No gift of time is too small. You have no idea how excited VRC members get when somebody says yes to ushering once a month. We jump for joy. There are so many benefits and rewards from volunteering other than money. Volunteering can provide a sense of purpose. By volunteering at our church, you connect to a community of your choice and help to make it a better place. There are ripple effects outside these walls in the community as well, whether it's by hosting an event about climate change, giving Harvest Food Bank recipients a box of mandarin oranges in December, or inviting the community in to learn more about humanism. Last May, our Inquiring Minds group offered a community dialogue on poverty and homelessness, followed by an all-candidates pre-provincial election political forum on poverty and homelessness in September. This was done in collaboration with an established conglomerate of socially active organizations. Have you ever stopped to consider why volunteering helps us feel good? Susan Albers, a psychologist at the Cleveland Clinic, says that volunteering can be great for a person's mental health. According to Albers, when you help other people, it activates the reward center in our brain and releases serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins, which is why many people feel better after volunteering. It occurred to me that perhaps endorphins produce not only a runner's high, but also a helper's high. Guess I'll stick to volunteering because you won't ever find me running. Regardless, an active mind and body is known to warn off cognitive decline and keep us healthy. I exercise, do Wordle, and I volunteer. Volunteering with others can help alleviate stress and lift our spirits. In particular, if you continue to work out of the home after the COVID years, you may welcome more human contact, whether in person or online. Or you may be newly retired and wondering what to do next. Volunteering with others can help us develop a solid support system, which may protect against isolation or depression. I've made several good friends in this church through volunteering, friends that I count on for emotional support. It's not always easy meeting new people and making friends, especially if you tend to be shy. Think of this room as a built-in friend-making zone. By learning and practicing new skills, volunteering can help you gain confidence and introduce you to a possible career path or an enjoyable pastime. I started volunteering at age 15 at a gym and pool in Niagara Falls because my parents wouldn't let me date, and I just wanted to get out of the house and be with friends. That was the beginning of a long and rewarding career in recreation and social services. Whatever your age or life situation, volunteering can add meaning and zest to your life. I have joked in the past that when you use See Me Coming, they run the other way. I'm looking at someone, but he doesn't know it. Chances are pretty good that I'll ask you about volunteering at some point. You're absolutely free to decline, and I'll love you anyway. And when the timing is right for you, you'll choose a most meaningful volunteer contribution to this church. Have fun with it. Today we celebrate current and future volunteers. We celebrate you. Please turn to number 346 in the gray hymnal. Come sing a song with me. You'll see the last verse has a little twist.